It is a huge, huge honor for me to be interviewing the man, Ashley Ladder from ashleyladder.com. That's www.ashleylatter.com. And we're going to talk today about ethical sales, how to have more patients say yes more often to your treatment plan so that you can deliver the dentistry that you love to do. But I got to tell you, this man is because probably about 85% of my listeners are the United States and 15% around the world. But over on across the pond, you are a legend. In 1997, two dentists took part on Ashley's ethical sales and communication program. And since then, over 8,500 delegates have now taken this program worldwide. This program is legendary in the United Kingdom dental world and is probably the most sought after program in dentistry today. Ashley has delivered this program in 14 different countries, including Estonia, Serbia, Canada, and the United States. Apart from the ethical sales and communication program, Ashley delivers other programs, including creating a world-class patient journey, creating a high-performance team, high-impact presentation skills program and reception program, how to turn telephone inquiries into appointments. Ashley also works with a very forward group of dentists and orthodontists on the Serious Players Club, which is an entrepreneurs group. He is the author of Helping Patients to Say Yes, Don't Wait for the Tooth Fairy, How to Communicate Effectively and Create the Perfect Patient Journey, and You Are Worth It, Communicate Your Fees with Self-Confidence and Achieve the Income You Deserve. He also wrote a chapter in Dental Masters and has written hundreds of articles. In 2014, Ashley got voted number 12 in the top 150 most influential people in UK dentistry, and he was the only overseas speaker at the 100th Dutch Dental Conference, which was opened by the King of Holland. Ashley has now delivered over 23,000 hours of business coaching to the dental industry all over the world. Simply put, he is the best at getting dentists and their teams to communicate with their patients, which results in a world-class patient journey, more patients saying yes to treatment plans, and increased profits for the practice. Ashley, seriously, dude, it is a complete honor that you spent time with me and my American homies. So I'm just going to ask you the bottom line. The bottom line, this is what every dentist says. Dude, I didn't go to school for 8 years to sell dentistry. I am not a salesman. How do you answer that?
Yeah, good question. Well, it's also a pleasure as well to be on your show. So thanks for inviting me. It's an extremely it's an important question. My view on this is is that the dentists, the doctors, they call it in the States, and every single one of your team members, every single day, is communicating and selling ideas, not just amongst themselves, but to other patients as well. Now, whether a patient takes up a treatment plan or not will probably not down to the technical ability of the dentist, but how they communicate what it is that they actually know to the patient. So if you think, we do the exercise on the courses, but if you write down a list of the qualities of somebody who's really successful in dentistry, you'll probably find that, there'll be a lot of things like good communication skills, good listening skills, good empathetic skills, good at building rapport, positive attitude, good at discussing fees and all those things, skills and attitudes. And then there'll be things like product knowledge. Well, product knowledge is absolutely vital. Everyone knows that. But if you can't communicate your ideas in a way that excites the patient, in a way that gets them wanting what it is that you're going to offer, the patients won't take up what it is that you're going to offer. And the greatest compliment I get when people come on my course, and I've just finished one, I've literally dashed home. I've just done a 2-day, 18-hour program with 31 doctors. But the main benefit they tell me at the end, the major compliment they give me is that, why aren't they teaching this at dental school? Because I've learned all the technical skills. I learned how to do short-term ortho. I know how to place implants, but I've never been able to communicate it in a way that gets the clients excited and wanting to take up what we've got to offer. So you better believe it. Dentists are selling their ideas every day, and most of their success will come down to how good they are at communicating the technical knowledge of what they know and what they can deliver.
So what can when you help a dentist try to go from being a technocrat to ethical sales, how do you do that in your program? And is it effective? I mean, are dentists teachable? Are they trainable? I mean, can they be like a movie star and play a villain when they're not really a villain?
Yeah,
Can they
great.
play a sales guy when they're
Yeah,
not
but it's
really hardwired?
well, yeah. I mean, here's the long-winded answer to a brilliant question. You see, ethical sales is actually we teach 8 steps on the program. The first thing is the 31 delegates that have just taken my course have paid $1,600-$1,700 each to be there. So they've come along with the team members as well. So the first thing is they've recognized that they want to improve those skills and that they want to get better at these skills. So the fact that they come on paid to be there helps. The second thing that we do is we take them through an 8-step consultation from things like preparing well for the appointment, how to build rapport, how you ask the right quality questions, how to present treatment plans in a way that excites patients, how to talk fees with confidence and achieve the income that your services deserve. A lot of dentists seriously undercharge for what they do. They discount their prices in their head. We teach them how to gain commitment. We teach them how to overcome price objections and concerns and follow up. So we take dentists through an 8-step. But the thing that's different is this, is that for 18 hours, I'm not lecturing, Howard. I'm giving them the proven process. I'm going through 1 step at a time. Then they hear examples, sometimes from me or sometimes from other dentists who have used the techniques and had success with it. And then we practice with them and then I coach them till they get it right. So it's what makes my programs unique and different. It's a proper behavior change program. So it's a bit, the best analogy I can give you, Howard, is it's a bit like learning how to drive a car. In the UK, you have a session for an hour. The instructor shows you how to drive a car. Then you get behind the wheel and practice, and then he coaches you to get it right. And then eventually you take a driving test and you pass it, and hopefully you can drive. And that's what that's what we do. So we take them through 8 steps. And the last thing they do on the second day at 5 o'clock till 6 is go through the whole consultation from start to finish. But they're able to deliver this as if they've been delivering lives. They don't need the book. They can just do it automatically. So that's the big difference. Nothing changes, Howard, until you change behavior. And that's really what we do on the program. That's probably why, you've mentioned $8,500 through it. We're close on 9,000 now. And we're at November the 3rd or the 4th today. And between now and Christmas, we'll have another 350 people go through the course. And that's why it's so successful. That's why it works well.
Would you ever consider coming to the great state of Phoenix, Arizona, and giving your 2-day program?
I would. I've just come back actually. I delivered a course 2 weeks ago in Atlanta. So I was there, and I've been twice to Atlanta this year, a couple of times to Dallas. In fact, I had a holiday. I went for a week in Florida after. But if we get the numbers, Howard, we get the delegates. I would love to go. Is
it a 1-day course or a 2-day course?
It's a 2-day, 18 hours. We need 18 hours over 2 days.
Well, our magazine goes to 125,000 dentists, so we'd fill it up. How many people do you like in that course?
Well, I did a course in Chicago last year. We had about 51 on it, and you know what? It was absolutely brilliant. So we on average, we get anything from about, I would say a low number would be 20, or to about 50 would be an average. So anywhere in between there. It
And
works.
do you recommend just the dentist, or does he bring his staff or her staff?
If you can bring the team members with you, then Howard, things just change in the practice. The thing is, you see, you've got to get everyone singing on the same hymn sheet, and if you've got a sales prevention officer amongst your ranks, they can destroy everything that the dentist or the doctor's done in the surgery. So, the more people of the team you bring on the program, the better the results you'll get, because you'll get a perfect patient journey from the way the telephone is answered at the desk right through to the whole consultation, right through to the follow-up. It works like a treat. So yeah, if you get the doctor bringing their team members, it works an absolute treat. It's brilliant.
Well, I would.
The thing is, Howard, I mean, I've just had, 31 people. I would say 12, 13 of the delegates were team members. The thing that we do is we find, the violets, the people who are quiet, and all of a sudden they blossom and grow. And all of a sudden, we find rising stars that become treatment coordinators, and outstanding team members. And that's probably why I love my job so much.
Well let's absolutely, do you want us to cap it off at a certain level? I mean, is too many people make it too I mean, is it better for a focus group? What is your ideal max number?
I would say 40 is the ideal number, because what I like to try and do, it is an 18, 20-hour course, and I try and get round and build rapport and try and want everyone on the course over the 2 days. So you get 40, we're at an ideal number, then that's a great group. Because the other thing about what we do, Howard, it's very, very motivational, inspirational. We take people, outside their comfort zones with the growing confidence. So the whole thing is very motivational, inspirational as well. So 35 to 40 is an ideal number.
Do you have any gambling addictions or anything I know? Because when I have them in Phoenix, I have them at the Talking Sticks Resort and Casino, and I don't want to bring you all the way to United Kingdom. Then you stay on the blackjack table all night.
No, I don't.
Can you pull yourself away from the casino long enough to give your course?
No. I should imagine that the only thing you'll be able to pull me away is probably from by the swimming pool. I know you'll have miles better weather than what we have in Manchester. We're about just to go to winter now, so we won't see the sun now for about 6 months.
Well, you email me a couple of dates, and I am going to bring you down to Phoenix, Arizona, Talking Sticks Casino, and because everybody I know on your side of the pond thinks you're the man, and like I say, you're a legend. And I would love to bring you down to Phoenix and have you give your 2-day course. We'll cap it at 40, so it'll sell out in a day. So basically, let's start from the beginning here. What is ethical sales?
Good question, Howard. Great question. Let's first of all talk about sales. Sales is not about selling dental treatment to patients that they don't want and need. It's ethical selling is actually really doing 4 things really, really, really well. Let me tell you what those 4 things are. The first thing is building relationships with the right type of patient. And the key words there are building relationships, because if you haven't got really strong rapport with your clients, then there's no trust and not much is going to happen after. So a big part of what we do over the 2 days is really how to connect with people and get people to instantly like you and build rapport with all types of characters. The other key word there, Howard, is right. Now, what you need to accept is, and what dentists find it challenging is, and I suppose I'm like that as well, most dentists are absolutely passionate about teeth. They go to parties, they look at people's teeth, and they think $3,000-4,000 I can change them and take 5 years off their face and give them massive confidence. But what they find it hard is that some people would rather spend $5,000 on a tattoo for the backside or the back. So the key word there is right. It's finding the right type of patient who values what you do. So step 1 is building rapport with the right type of patient. Ethical selling then is step 2. The biggest mistake dentists make in their communication skills is that they provide solutions without first truly fully finding out what patients' wants and needs are. Because in short, they don't ask enough questions. So what we teach is this in part 2 is how to ask the right type of questions, how to ask the right type of questions in the right order, how to listen empathetically, so that you can not only create more opportunities to do the dentistry that you love to do, but create amazing rapport again with your patients. So we teach them how to ask the right type of questions. Now the third part is you then found out some problems or issues that the patients want or patients need. So the third part of ethical selling is that we would then teach them how to communicate the benefits to the patients, or communicate what you can do in a language that gets the patient excited. And that normally is on an emotional level. So we teach dentists how to present treatment plans in a way that gets patients really excited about what you can do and gets them excited on board. And once you've done that, the 4th step is saying to the patient, look, Mrs. Patient, here's what your problem was. Here's a solution, or here's the best solutions for you. What do you think? Is this the sort of thing that you'd like to move forward with? And there you've got commitment. So ethical selling, it's not about hard selling. It's not about selling treatment to patients they don't want need. It really is about doing 4 things really well. It's connecting with the patient and having an amazing relationship with them. It's asking questions to find out what their problems are. It's solving them in a language that they understand. And the fourth part is gaining commitment in such a way that the patient turns around and says, Howard, this is exactly what I want, and you've solved my problem, and I'd like to move forward and go ahead. And that's really what ethical sales is about.
But Ashley, so many dentists they say to themselves, Ashley, I just can't talk money. Why do you think dentists find it so difficult to talk money? And should they even be talking money? Should someone else be talking the money? Should I
Yeah,
tell you you need a root canal and then Amy comes up front and tells you how much it costs? Why is money
yeah.
so difficult for a doctor to talk about?
Well, I can basically well, there's two agendas here, but let me talk about it from the UK point of view, and then can talk about it from the American side. The first thing is they weren't taught these skills at dentistry school. What you were taught at dentistry school is how to do dentistry. Nobody teaches you how to communicate or discuss fees. So that's number one. Number two is in the UK, as you may be aware, we've had a National Health Service. So the National Health Service still accounts for about probably maybe 55 to 60% of British dentistry. Although it's decreasing every single year, it's getting less and less. Now on the National Health Service, a lot of the dentistry is free. Now all of a sudden you've got a dentist who's saying free 1 minute, and then the next minute they're saying 3,000. Well, it sounds exactly the same word, but there's a massive difference from free to 3,000. So that's another reason. The other thing is that dentists, seriously, I believe, seriously undercharged for what they do. A big problem, a lot of UK dentists and American dentists, I've done courses in the States 4 times this year, is they think of a price in their head. So say the treatment's $1,000, but for some reason, by the time it comes out of the mouth, it's $850. And 150 has gone missing somewhere, and the patient doesn't even know a discount's been given. So that's another thing. Another dentists think, or doctors think, well, if I make the treatment cheaper or slightly knock something off, they're more likely to say yes. And that is just not the case, and we prove that on the course. Should I think doctors should discuss money? Personally, unless they've got an absolutely brilliant, outstanding treatment coordinator who can take over and do that, then I think they should. Because I tell you, I was in the States 2 weeks ago. I was with a doctor, and he brought his 2 receptionists on the course. And here's what the doctor does. So the doctor sees the patient, has a consultation. Patient says, well, what's the price going to be? And the doctor says, well, downstairs, Mary will tell you what it is. So the patient leaves not knowing what the price is, hasn't a clue what the next step is. He goes to the desk, speaks to Mary. Mary says, well, your 6 month smile treatment or whatever it's going to be is $4,500. Now, all of a sudden, the patient's going, wow, that's expensive. Now, Mary's got the phone ringing. She's got 3 patients waiting at the desk, and she's now got to deal with a client's objection. Now, Mary wasn't even in the surgery, so she hasn't got a clue what's going on. Patient leaves, and the whole thing is, the baton's been dropped. So, ideally, you want the dentist or the doctor to be able to discuss fees in the surgery. So the patient knows exactly what's going on, what the fees are. And if they're happy to go ahead, then you've got closure, or you've got the commitment step to move to the next level, all in a very ethical way. So to answer your question, which is a great question, yes, I personally believe the doctor should be able to discuss money. The only alternative is, unless there's a brilliant treatment coordinator who's maybe sitting in the room at the same time as the doctor, who can then take the patient to a different room and discuss finance, then that would be acceptable as well.
So, Ashley, how do the other non-dentists contribute to success in sales? Do other things contribute to a higher closure rate, like a world-class patient journey, or do other things contribute to this?
There was a dentist who came on my program, and what he did was he researched a patient that he had coming in at 8:30 the next day. He found out the guy was a professional speaker from an email he got. He watched the YouTube channels, he watched the videos that he produced. And when the patient came in the next day, the first 15 minutes of the conversation was all about him being a professional speaker and how impressed he was with the videos and impressed with the YouTube channels. And 45 minutes later, a $12,000 treatment plan was accepted and agreed. So closing is important, but unless you've got the foundations right of the preparation, the building rapport and all that, then you'll never get there. So most patients are making their mind up within the first few minutes. So how you connect and build that relationship with patient is just absolutely vital.
So what was it was a book, Don't Wait for the Tooth Fairy, right?
Yeah.
So what was the essence of the book then? I mean, what was
Well, the
their
book,
takeaway?
yeah, the book, I wrote the book about 7 years ago. And the book is basically the book of the course. So I go through all the 8 steps from how to take an inquiry on the telephone to how the whole patient journey, the whole consultation, right through to the close, the follow-up, and how to ask for referrals. So the book is everything that we do on the 2-day course. So if you were to say, what's the manual of the course, then Don't Wait for the Tooth Fairy is that manual.
And where they buy that? Is it available on Amazon.com, or should they go to
It is.
ashleyladder.com, or where would
Yeah.
you prefer they buy it?
Yeah, if they go, it's available on Amazon, or if they come on my website, ashleylatter.com, you can buy the 3 books there. And if you get the books, if you come on my website, I'll sign them and make them special for you, and we'll send you some free goodies at the same time as well. We'll send you a free DVD and some other things and pieces that will help you as well.
What are the 3 books?
Well, we've the 3 books we've got on the website are Don't Wait for the Tooth Fairy, How to Communicate Effectively and Create the Perfect Patient Journey in Your Dental Practice. The other book I wrote about 18 months ago was called You Are Worth It, How to Discuss Your Fees with Confidence and Achieve the Income that Your Services Deserve. And that really is all about how to discuss money, how to charge right for what you do and make sure that you don't undercharge. It's how to feel comfortable about discussing the fees. The other book there is the Dental Masters. There was about 12 of us in the United Kingdom, some dentists, some business coaches, and we all put a couple of chapters in the book together. So it's really about what it's like the dental experts. So we've got that book there as well. So you can get all 3 books from our website.
You know what my fantasy is? You are a legend on the other side of the pond, and we put up 350 courses on Dental Town, and they've been viewed over 500,000 times. I wish you would do a course where if they signed up for your online CE course for an hour, part of the fee, they got your 3 books or whatever, but you're not a townie and you haven't put online CE. I would love to turn 205,000 American dentists onto Ashley Ladder. I think you would do so much good for our industry, and Americans love they love to hear something fresh from the other side of the world,
Yeah,
from England or Australia or Canada. Or would you
yeah.
ever consider that, doing some
Yeah,
type
of
of?
course I will. I would love to do this. We've delivered. I don't know. In the last 3 years, I've come over to the States about 8, 9 times now, and they've been some of the best programs I've delivered, and they've been the most receptive as well. I love dealing with. I love coming to the States. It's just a real buzz. I know you guys like coming over to the UK, but we just get a buzz coming over to your place as well. So yeah, I'd love to do I can do an hour workshop. We can do it on the Skype, or we can do it by webinar. Love to do it. More than happy to do it. So if we can talk and make that happen.
Yeah, I would absolutely love that. So if someone's where would you begin? Like, what's some low hanging fruit necessities when the person is answering the phone? I mean, the dentist is back there and they just want to do their root canal, they want to do their crown.
Yeah.
What should the dentist be thinking about when somebody is answering the phone? I mean, they'll hire a receptionist, and the dentist will say, "Well, I wonder if she's any good. Let's put her up front. And we'll just have her start with just answering the phone, as if that's like the least important job. I mean, instead of sweeping or vacuuming,
Yeah.
we'll just have her start at the front, just answer phones, and hopefully she'll work out." I think it's very important to answer the phone. What should a dentist be thinking about as far as when somebody's up there answering the phone? I mean, that's the
Okay.
first contact with the office.
Yeah. Do you know what? I could talk about 3 hours on this, but let me give you the 3 minute version. First thing they've got to do is this. And if your doctors just did this two things, will significantly increase your more patients coming through your door. The first thing is this: you've got to record the calls. You've got to see what the girls are saying at the desk. I was with a practice that I did some training with them about a month ago. It's a practice in Harley Street. Now, Harley Street, there's about 150 dental practices. It's the main street in London for health. And I listened to 24 phone calls. You could not make it up how bad it was. You see, what happens is the receptionists were talking about the treatment and not trying to get the patient through the door. So you have to record the calls. You have to see what the receptionists are saying and what they should be saying and what they shouldn't be saying. But if you did this one, besides that, if you did this one thing, you will see more patients come through the door. You've got to answer the telephone to new inquiries away from the desk. It has to be in a quiet room. It has to be in a place where a life-changing conversation can take place. And that is not at the desk when there's 16 other things going on at once. So that's the main thing you've got to do is record the calls, obviously train your receptionists because they're key. They make or break whether a patient comes through the door or not. They decide if the patient comes through the door or not by the way they deal with the patient on the phone. But if you do nothing else but take the phone away from the desk, particularly to new inquiries, you will see a significant increase. Because the bottom line is this: when a receptionist answers the telephone to new inquiry at the desk, she's got 6 things going on at once. And whatever happens, she can't give that new inquiry, that new patient, 100% attention because there's too much going on. We did those, just that one thing alone, you'll see more patients coming through your door.
So what are the technicalities of recording a call? Do you need a special phone? Is there a company that does it in the UK and the United States? Or can you talk about the logistics of how you actually record phone calls?
Good question. I mean, I don't know specifically, but I'm certain there's companies in America and in the UK that specialize in this. If you went to your the company who you register with your telephone, or the other companies as well. The company that we use a company ourselves called answerforyou.com. It's a UK-based company. They might be able to do that. They actually. And here's another thing as well, Howard. Here's another quick tip because I'm big on giving people value all times. Is answer your telephone out of work hours. Now, it doesn't actually have to be you that answers the phone, but you could delegate that to a third-party company. And, you know, if you think about it, Howard, now most people or most clients are searching the web at night time between 8 and 10 o'clock at night. Now, if your dental practice or practice says we're open 24 hours, 7 days a week, call us, and then the person rings, instead of getting an answer machine, they get someone who's human. Again, you're going to create more opportunities for more patients to come through your door. So get your telephone answered out of hours, even if it's from a third-party company who can just take a name, number, and a message. The next day, somebody can ring them patient back, and again, you'll see a significant increase in more patients coming through your door. So there's a couple of quick tips. So find a company. There'll be local companies in the States. There's a company we use here in the UK is a company called answerforyou.com.
So how often should the dentist listen to these calls? And when he or she listens to the calls, do you listen to them with the person answering, or do you do that? Do you do that outside, or?
It's not easy. It's not easy. But unless you do it together, the receptionist is never going to change what she does. So it was a great help for me to listen to the 24 telephone calls beforehand. Now, when I delivered the material, I asked permission at the start of the day. We'll go through the material, we'll go through the program, we'll coach and I'll train you. But at the end of the day, we'll then listen to the ones that you've done so far before the course. Now, it was brilliant, and they were so open and honest. And when they heard them, they realised at the end of the day what was going wrong and what they weren't or shouldn't have been doing. So yes, you're going to have it's not easy, particularly for the receptionist. It can be embarrassing for them. But if you get their permission and you're explaining to them that we're only doing this to become better at what we do, and we want to train you to become the best at what you do, and they're bought into it, then yes, absolutely, you've got to listen to the course together.
And don't you think just the psychology of a human, don't you think just the fact that all your receptionists know they're being recorded makes them raise their bar?
Of course it does, yeah. Especially if they're involved in it. And you see, the receptionists are normally the people that are least trained, as you mentioned before, but yet they are the most important people within the practice because they make the appointment, they greet the patients when they walk through the door, and in often cases, they're the person at the end of the appointment, the consultation, where they take over. So they're absolutely key to it. So you really need to invest and train these people, because if you think about it, every single, I mean, I'm looking at the UK here. If a patient just contacts your practice, I mean, the average new patient must be worth anything at least three to five, $7,000 on average. They have to be. If they become a member of your practice and stick around for 5 years, even if they didn't spend any money on dental treatment, they'll probably most likely spend $3,000-4,000 with you.
So, what do you think are things that, from a patient's perspective, make it appear a world class journey? I know the dentist, like myself, thinking that, my gosh, I found 4 canals in this molar, not 3. This patient must know I do the best root canals in the world. And the reality is, the patient doesn't know what an extra canal is. They don't know what a lateral canal is. They don't know anything about what we're actually doing. What do you think the patient is grading us on? What do you think makes the patient say, "Wow"? Going to Ashley's office, that was a world class
Well,
journey.
yeah, we have a discussion on part of the course. Did that today. And what I do is I get the practices into teams, and I say to them, okay, we're going to spend 5-10 minutes on this, but write down everything that your patient can judge when they come into your practice or make contact with you when they come in. And between them, we write them all up on the board and say, look at it. If you think about it, they can judge absolutely everything about your practice. But the one thing they can't judge is the dental treatment they've just had. They can't judge that. I can't judge how good my car service is. But what I can judge is, did the receptionist smile at me? Did she make me a nice cup of coffee? Is the environment clean? Does it smell nice? Does it look the part? Do all the staff look happy? Are they all joking amongst themselves? Is there a great environment? Is it fun there? Does it smell nice? Is the journey, the welcome, did the dentist or doctor spend a lot of time building great rapport with me? When I went to the toilet, did it look great? The list goes on and on and on and on. And all those are things that the patients can judge, and you've got to get those right. And I often say to, when they leave today, we have practices who make a long list of things that they're going to change. They can judge the pictures on the wall, and all those sort of things, and the problem is sometimes is that we I've got my own training centre in Manchester. I've got a couple of tiles that are stained. Well, I live with that. I see that every day. And yet sometimes you need someone to come in and point it and say, Ashley, you got to go and change those 2 tiles. They look a bit dirty. But I live with it. I notice it every day, but yet I don't seem to do anything about it. So in short, get your whole team together, have a morning huddle, and decide and everything, discuss and say, okay, what can the patient judge, and where do we need to improve what we do to make it a world-class journey? You want to get your whole team doing this, because you'll get little Nancy and Rebecca. They'll give you the ideas, and once you get the ideas, they will run with it and make it happen. If I go in and tell them, they don't want to do anything about it. So you've got to get your whole team on board. But you are right. They judge absolutely everything, but they can't judge the dentistry.
Well, here's the most important question I have to ask you, because you're an expert in seeing this relationship from the patient perspective and from the dentist perspective. This dental student in America is coming out $350,000 student loans. They go buy a practice, it's going to be another $400,000-500,000. They're told that if they don't buy a $150,000 CAD CAM machine to make 1-hour crowns, or a $75,000 laser, or a $100,000 3D X-ray machine, that the patient won't think they're high tech, and that they have to buy another $300,000 worth of equipment to impress the patient. Do you think patients are impressed by CAD CAM lasers, 3D X-ray machines? Is that part of a world-class patient experience?
Um,
Did I just get you in trouble with that? Was that too controversial of a question?
I think I need a couple of beers with you over the bar to discuss that one. You know what? Do they really care? Yeah, I mean, have you ever had the conversation? Have you ever overheard a conversation, where 4 women are discussing the doctor's CEREC machine and how good it was. Not really. You know, I had a dentist ring me up last night, and she's just qualified. She's just left university. She's been practicing for a year, and she's been told by a boss to, I've got to do my course. And I spoke to her for about 20 minutes. I rang her up, and she rang me, and we discussed it. And you know what? She's done all the courses. She's done the ortho courses. She's bought all the kit. You know what, though? It's still in the bloody box because she can't communicate effectively and get patients bought into it. So, get that bit right and all the toys and stuff will follow, but if you can't communicate what you do, you'll never ever be making CEREC crowns and stuff. And I think sometimes, I'll tell you a very, very quick story. I was speaking at the British Implant Conference this year, and I gave a presentation. This doctor came up to me, and he spent 20 minutes telling me all about his issues, about his problems, how he's done the courses, he's bought the kit, and how he's only placed about 4 implants all year, and yet he's had, I don't know, a couple of dozen consultations, and he's got the kit, he's got the stuff. Now, you know what? As I'm speaking to him, a doctor friend of mine came up. He's taken my course 7 times. He's begging this guy to do my course. He places 500 implants a year. He said, "You won't spend your money better. Please do it." My client goes away. This guy speaking to me, and he turns around and says, "Leave it with me. I'm going to think about it, and I might buy your book." Now he goes to the next table and spends £2,500 or nearly $4,000 on more kit. Now, what's he going to do with that kit? What's he going to do with all those toys? If he can't communicate and get patients on board, they're just going to stay in the box again. So, yes, all these toys help and everything else, but if you can't get your patients buying into what it is that you offer, then you'll never use your CEREC machine. You'll never use all this fancy equipment anyway. So that's my view on it.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, you've done this for 2 decades with some of the most elite dentists in the world. If you took 100 of your most elite dentists that you've known over the years and 100 of your most non-elite dentists, are the elite dentists more likely to have a CEREC, a laser, and a 3D X-ray machine, or not? Or was that
Yes.
Pardon?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because they've been able to afford to buy it.
So that they do what you do, the patient will have help, they'll have money, they'll sell treatment, and then they'll have the money to afford to learn how to place implants or same-day crowns or
Correct.
yeah.
Correct.
But the horse comes before the cart, and you're the horse, and the technology is the cart.
Correct.
Because
I've just bought a training center. I bought my own center 3 years ago. Well, it's taken me 3 years to kit the whole place out. We just put new flooring, new tables, new videos, and everything else. It didn't happen straight away. I had to have people to come on my courses, so all the other kit and all the other stuff could follow. Now it's ready. Now we're there. But I couldn't have done it 3 years ago without being good at marketing and good at selling and delivering brilliant courses. So, and course, it is important to have these the technical toys. I'm not dismissing it. Please don't think it. But sometimes there's no point in buying all the stuff if you can't use it or all the kit because you can't communicate what you do to clients to convince them to take on board what you do. And that's my view on it.
Yeah, I have to agree. I have to agree. I mean, I have $150,000 CEREC. I have the $100,000 CBCT from Kerosene. I have all those lasers and toys, but I just think that the $1 million practice I know, they're not more or less likely to have any of that stuff. They get the human, the cells, the communicate. They get the reason they're $1 million to $4 million a year practice because they get the people side right, not the technology right side. And there's a gazillion people who buy all the high expensive toys that can't even make the payments on them.
Correct.
The toy's not going to save you. The people. It's the people. Yeah. You got to nail the people. Yeah. And that is my number one complaint for me for 28 years. They don't want to talk about the soft stuff. They don't want to talk about that stuff. They want to go right to how to place the implant. So tell me about the implant. Is that is you've mentioned placing implants, short-term ortho, CAD CAM. Are any of these taking off more or faster on your side of the pond? I mean, do you see?
Absolutely. Oh God, yes. I mean, we you know, I know, although I would say we're a little bit behind Europe in terms of implants. Implant treatment is absolutely taken off in a big way. Most definitely, we have we've had some of the top implant specialists in the United Kingdom take my courses, and the short-term ortho courses are really taking off. We've got I speak at a number of these courses, and they're being run every weekend, and they're full. Absolutely taken off. Really, cosmetic treatment is really taken off in the UK.
And when I got out of school in '87, what percent of the dentist and was done by the NHS versus 28 years later in 2015? What do you said it was 55% of dentistry in the UK was done by the NHS. How much was it when I got out of school in '87?
Oh God, it would have been probably something like 95 to 5%, probably,
So then what
maybe
is your
even more.
so
Would have
then
been
what
mostly National Health Service.
so then what is your prediction 10, 20 years from now? Do you think the NHS will continue to decline, or do you think it's a business cycle and it'll come back?
It, it's, it's going to decline. The bottom line is, Howard, we've got the same problems as what you've got in the United States. We've got financial problems still. We're still in a period of austerity, and it's going to be with us a long time. And I think the problem with the National Health is, it's a brilliant institution. I'm a massive fan of it, but it tries to do too much, and it can't do everything. And what's happening is that the contracts are getting cuts and cuts and cuts, and dentists are being asked to do more for less. And there's a breaking point. And I think what's happening is a lot of dentists are now really getting to a stage where they're really fed up now, and more are going private. So if you were to say, if I had a magic ball and say, what would it look like in 20 years? I would say private will significantly increase. I think we will get to a stage where more people are paying on a monthly basis. And I think the National Health Service, I think it will still be there, but I think it will definitely be playing a lesser role in the United Kingdom, definitely.
And then another question I want to ask you is, you've lectured in dozens of countries. Is the business of dentistry pretty much the same in all countries? I mean, I know clinically dentistry, it doesn't matter if the dentist is doing a root canal in Egypt or Jordan or Syria. I mean, everybody's chasing the same parameters of quality from the science of dentistry. I mean, math is
Yeah.
math. It doesn't really matter if you're Egyptian or Syrian or Jordan. But what about the business of dentistry? Does it vary much? Do some countries are there much variances in how the business of dentistry is delivered to where you could say, okay, these are best practices. These countries do this better, and these countries do this worse. That are there best practices variances that you see?
I think there's variances in the country, depending on which part of the country. If you went to London, I think dentistry in London, where it's obviously a lot more competitive and a lot more cutthroat, will be completely different to how it's done in the north of England. So I think there's variances that way. What I do find is, even when I come to the States, and it's interesting because a lot of English dentists ask me this, or UK dentists ask me, but the American dentists have exactly the same challenges in the way they communicate to their patients as they do in the UK. So there isn't much difference in that respect. In the way they communicate. They all have the same challenges. They all talk too technical. They're all not good at discussing fees. They're all not good at building that relationship because they weren't sort of taught those skills at dentistry school. So it's pretty much universal right across the world. But I would say in certain parts of each country, I would say the business of dentistry is more prevalent depending on which parts you visit in which parts of the country.
Interesting. So then give a review. So tell us, I'm going to bring you to Phoenix, Arizona. I'm going to put you in the Talking Sticks Casino. You're going to give your 2-day course. Tell them what that's going to be like for 2 days.
Well, we're going to I'm going to present a program to you where we're going to take you through an 8-step approach where we will develop your communication skills and your team's communication skills so that you can build amazing relationships with your patients. You'll be able to ask brilliant questions to create more opportunities for you, both with new and existing patients. You'll be able to present it in a way that excites patients. You'll be able to discuss fees with more confidence. You'll be able to have more patients saying yes in a very, very, very ethical way. And you'll have these patients going away, handing your referral cards out, and they'll bring new patients to your door. And we're going to do that in a very ethical way. We're going to coach you. We're going to change your behavior. We're going to have an absolute lot of fun. 1 minute you're going to be laughing so much you're going to break your ribs, and the next minute you're going to be practicing treatment plans and conversing in a way that you've never conversed before. So you can expect fun, you can expect to be stretched, you can expect it very motivational, but you can be expecting to have a lot of laughter along the way. So that's what you can expect in 18 to 20 hours of working with me.
So that'll be a 2-day course.
Yeah.
You like Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday? What do you prefer?
Well, I know I don't mind if I'm coming over to the States. It makes no difference to me. I think a Friday, Saturday works well. I know you guys,
Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, you honor your Sundays. So
And what will the name of this course be?
it's the
Don't wait for the
it's
tooth
the
fairy.
ethical sales and communication course.
And can we bill it as, do you remember the British music invasion in the 70s where every single song you heard on the radio all had one thing in common? They were all from London. When I grew up as a kid, I mean, if you were a rocking hot band, it only came from your country. What was it? What was in the water back then in the 70s? How did you guys create every rock band that ever, how did that even happen?
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, Howard? Because to be honest, I'm biased. I live in Manchester, and I think we produce the best rock bands in the world. I think we have done for the last 10, 15 years, certainly in the United Kingdom. I think it's so bloody miserable here. So we don't spend a lot of time outside. So I think we're good at being inside and making music. So that's my view on it, especially when you live in Manchester, when it rains about 260 days a year. So we're pretty good at doing things inside. Inside that house.
You know what my theory was, and when I was walking the streets of London with my boys, we all came to the same conclusion. My theory is the British rock invasion came because most countries you go to, all the people are the same. Like you go to Japan, they're all Japanese. You go to Poland, they're all Polish. Most countries are all the same. But due to the British Empire, when you walk down London, unlike any other street in the world, I mean, every other person is from a different country. You hear different languages. And I think it was just all the world had representation in one city. So they had all the flavors in food and cooking and music. Do you think that had any effect on it, the British Empire? I mean,
could be. I mean, if you go into most UK cities now, it's very multinational, and you'll see. It's interesting. I was walking in the park here the other day in Manchester, and it was amazing just to see. There must have been about 20, 30 different nationalities, walking around in 3 hours. So possibly, and it's still like that today. So could be part of it. But I just think I think the British have always been creative people. I think that's what we've always been good at, is creating and leading and and innovation. And I think music is definitely a part of that. And I think, particularly where I live in Manchester, we've had bands like Joy Division and New Order and Oasis, Stone Roses. We've led the world in producing music. So, and the northwest of England's been like that, of course, with the Beatles as well.
Did the Queen ever lift the band on Oasis playing in London? Wasn't he banned for a while for major stadiums?
I don't know, to be honest.
Oh, who knows?
Liam Gallagher, Noel Gallagher, Gallagher brothers.
Yeah, who knows the tabloids, whether they're true or not. But hey, I want to tell you that I know you're a busy man. I know you got to run to a soccer game. I definitely want to bring you down to Phoenix, Arizona. We love putting on courses. Well, you said limit it to 50 or 40. Did you say? Would you say 40 or 50?
We can get 40 to 50. 40, we'll have an absolute ball.
Okay, we'll limit that to 40. So you guys listening, you got to better sign up now because that will sell out before we even announce it. But Ashley, seriously, I called you. You didn't call me. I'm a big fan of you. All my friends am back in your side of the pond. Talk the world to you. You really are a legend. I really hope Dentaltown has 205,000 dentists, and they've posted 4 million times. And if you put a course up there, it would really turn on a lot of my American homies to all that you know. And I want to turn them on to you because I think they'll be happier and healthier if they deal with all these issues of get rid of the big mistakes in communications and discuss fees. And I think you're good for dentists. You're good for dentistry. Thank you so much for spending an hour with me today.
You're welcome. Thanks very much. It's been a privilege. Nice meeting you.
All right. Nice meeting you, buddy. Bye-bye.